You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the June 20th, 2023 meeting of the Michigan City Board of Public Works and Safety. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good morning. I'd like to call this meeting of the Michigan City Board of Public Works and Safety to order this 28th day of June, 2023. Present are Mayor Dwayne Perry, Mr. Michael Vincent, myself, Virginia Keating. We have a quorum. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the regular hybrid Zoom meeting of June 5th, 2023. Are there any corrections?
None here, Madam.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Support.
And I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is the amendment to a purchase agreement between McQueen Emergency and the City of Michigan City, Indiana, for the purchase of a Pierce Enforcer 100-foot rear mount platform aerial fire truck in the amount of $1,995,000.
Madam President, the purpose of this amendment is to clarify that payment will be due upon delivery of the vehicle. Per the agreement, title passes to the vehicle when it is delivered. The original agreement called for us making payment before it was actually delivered. So therefore, I was very concerned about insurance to make sure that it was adequately protected while in transit. We had a conference with the vendor and everybody agreed it would be easier for us just to change this. So if it is damaged in transit, it would not be our responsibility. It would be on the vendor and we'll take title and have it insured once it's delivered here.
Excellent. Is there any board comment?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a memorandum of understanding. Shannon Eason, representing the Michigan City Public Art Committee, is requesting approval of a memorandum of understanding between Janet Austin Artist and the Michigan City Public Works to place her art titled Waterbird on Franklin Street in the Uptown Arts District in the amount of $3,000. We had this before us last time.
You did, and there was no vote on it. This is simply a renewal of a sculpture that's already been placed in Michigan City. We like to renew it for 2 more years.
All right. Is there any public comment? Is there any board comment?
None here, Madam Chair.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you, Shannon. Next item on the agenda is an application for vendor license. Jesus Tapia Pacos, my friend, is requesting a vendor license to set his food truck up in the Walmart parking lot to participate in the Children's Miracle Network campaign on the following dates: June 18th, June 24th, July 1st, and July 2nd, 2023, starting at 10 a.m. and ending at 8 p.m. I believe we have a letter of approval also from Walmart verifying that they have made these arrangements. Amber?
I don't know, is the vendor or the applicant here? No. I just had a few questions. One question that I had was the exact location. I know he says Walmart, but he also said depends on other events. I think if the board does grant it, we make it specific to Walmart and let him come back for any miscellaneous areas. He said that he did not have any signage attached to the application, but would be using it. We would need the signage. Then I also had a question into the police department just to make sure the driver's license was applicable in this state because it is an international driver's license. I'm just not sure.
Okay.
I don't know if Corporal Wright had reviewed this or not.
Are you able to?
Yeah.
Okay, would you do that, please? Right.
Thank you.
Okay. This is interesting because his first date was the 18th. So I don't know if he's out there or what.
That's the first date.
And the next date is the 24th, and July 1st and 2nd, we
Yeah.
won't have a meeting before that.
Right. What do you suggest, Amber?
Well, I'm not comfortable giving it yet. Like I said, I have those questions. Unless Corporal's right, this is my main one. I just don't know if it's applicable in the state.
Well, then let's just, we have no alternative but to
Correct.
put it on pending items list. Okay, do I have a motion?
Motion to put on pending items list for the next meeting.
Support.
A call for the vote, Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. Next item is the application for a vendor's license. Michael Schick, Food Wheels LLC is requesting a vendor's license to set his food truck up at 4411 Inn and Suites Sunday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it doesn't indicate beginning date and ending date from what I can see. Do you see it there?
No, I just see that it's 1 year. I'm not sure when they would want the year to start. My guess would be from today's date if we approve it.
Okay, all right. Have you looked at the application?
I have, again, this one says primarily will be parked at a certain location, the 4411 East US Highway 12. Again, I'd recommend that we only approve it for that location. And if there's additional locations, they come back. The other thing is that the certificate of insurance needs to be amended per our insurance broker. It's not correct. So with those two issues, I have no other questions or concerns regarding it.
Okay, all right. Is there any public comment? Or do you have any comments?
None here, Madam Chair.
I also see that the food establishment permit is ending at the end of this year, so that would limit the
That's right.
timeliness as well. So I'd make a motion to put this on the pending item list to review the questions that we have for next meeting.
Here.
Oh.
Answer those questions.
Oh,
Yeah,
Well, sure.
Okay.
my name's Michael. I'm applying. Sorry. Can I answer any of those questions that you might have? Michael Schick, and I'm at 224 Cook Street, Michigan City.
So I know you said primarily would be parked at 4411 East US Highway 12.
Yes,
What other locations?
for this year, for the pending license that we were applying for, it's only going to be there for this season.
Okay,
We're not looking until branching out until next year.
okay. And then our insurance agent said that there needs to be some changes to the certificate of insurance. More specifically, there's no general liability on there. The additional insurance language isn't correct. Would you be willing to make those amendments to the certificate of insurance?
Yes, I can do that today if that's possible.
Okay. That was all.
Okay, then do
And
it.
then you could get us an amended food handler's permit when yours expires, correct?
Yes. Yeah, actually, I'm doing it tomorrow.
Would you like to withdraw that motion to put on pending items?
Yes, I'll withdraw that motion.
Okay, and do I have a motion?
motion to approve.
I also have a question,
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
it may be pertinent or not. The application information, the personal address and the business address is the same. Does that make a difference to us? It's a
Actually, he's a small
non-residential.
business entrepreneur.
Yes.
Right. I'll make a motion, we approve.
Mayor's made
Sorry.
that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
You started it.
No, that's all right.
Go ahead.
I'll second.
Okay, and that's contingent on the receipt of the amended certificate.
Insurance certificate.
Okay, then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is approval for additional employees. William Maynard, Phantom Fireworks Eastern Region LLC is requesting approval to hire additional employees on his vendor's license. Is there anybody here from? Want to come up, please?
Good morning,
Would you state your name and address?
Sarah Ann Staples, 2920 Warble Ave, Michigan City, Indiana.
I see you want to hire 3 additional employees.
Yes,
Amber, is there any problem with?
No, I see everything's in order in the application.
Okay, that's what I thought. Any public comment? Any board comments?
None here.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Support.
Then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a request for streetlights. Brad Minnick, Haas and Associates is requesting for NIPSCO to furnish and install 3 streetlights in the alleyway between Emily and Miller Streets, east of E Street, as a safety enhancement to the neighborhood. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning, Brad Minnick, Haas and Associates. So this request is, as I said, a safety enhancement. You should have, as part of your packet, a map showing where the new streetlights would go in the alleyway. Are there any questions about the installation?
I have none.
None here.
Is there a public comment?
Good morning, Rodney McCormick, 617 Union Street. Last time I was before you guys, I was basically rushed out of here and basically feel like I was telling the untruth about what's going on Miller and Emily Street. We were told, I was told, and this board was told, and the public was told that NIPSCO took care of this matter and hurry up and just get me off the pending item list. There's no street lights whatsoever in that alleyway. None. I was right. I don't come before this board or any other board telling something that's not true. Mr. Wright is also here. And unfortunately, we had a shooting over there, some shooting that went on over there. And Mr. Wright happened to be there and he sat in the alleyway and he couldn't even believe how dark it was. Instead of name calling and carrying this stuff on from this board to another board, holding some kind of dislike or disdain towards me, we should just do what's right for the public. Brad came over to my home, and I appreciate that. He called me, he came to my house, and we walked the alleyway together. It didn't take long to see what the problem was. Since then, the trees was taken out of the way of the lights. It didn't improve it on Union Street, but it's a good step forward, showing that how communication will work, how things will work if we communicate better. For some reason, this administration and the last administration don't like to communicate with the public. We just criticize, and don't want to do nothing. But it's good to see that Mr. Brad came out to my home, apologized, and he got right to the business and got everything done. So I hope in the future, if I come before the board, I hope that we can just don't look down your nose at me. Just say, hey, let's just see if this got any valid. This request that he's requesting is valid. And Mr. Andrew White, I just like to also say he's one of the first board members who ever came to my home and introduced himself to me. This was last year. He had a talk, me and him had a conversation. He drove to my house and introduced himself to me. Maybe this board might want to do the same thing instead of just criticizing. Maybe go by and see if there's a genuine concern in the neighborhoods before we just start doing the stuff that we're doing. Thank you.
Is there any board comment?
None here, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Support.
Now call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. The next item is the use of city property. Breland Hervey Social Q Barbecue is requesting to utilize the redevelopment owned property at 7th and Franklin Street for a kidpreneur event during the first Fridays for the months of July and September.
Hello, Breland Hervey, 1705 Springland Avenue, Michigan City. We're just coming in. We've been working with the kids for the last few months here, and then also speaking with the RDC. And we just wanted to make sure that we were doing the proper steps and coming in front of the Board of Works as well too, to make sure that we have approval to host these events for the kids. If you guys have any questions, let me know.
I just wondered, is there any street closure involved in this?
No,
And I understand that redevelopment has approved. Amber,
Yes.
did you have something?
What exactly activities will you be doing with Kidpreneur?
so the kids are coming out and they're as vendors and they're setting up. We're kind of trying to help the kids be entrepreneurs actually, and showing them how to become business owners instead of getting on the streets and doing other things like that. So we bring the kids down. We've got tents, and the city has donated. Different businesses in the city have donated tables, chairs, tents, garbage cans. We're working to get some sponsorship for Porta Johns as well too, so that way they don't have to interfere with, or the guests don't have to interfere with the local businesses and use their restrooms as well too.
Okay.
The only thing I would suggest not doing is any type of bouncy houses. We've always been historically, just because they're a liability and our insurance would not allow us to have that.
Okay.
So that's the only thing. And then we would need the certificate of insurance, naming the city of
I'm sorry, I
redevelopment
thought I got that
as
out.
additional insured.
We've got it already. Yep,
Okay.
and it's on there too, because it's all under me.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, do I have a motion contingent on receipt of the certificate of insurance?
I'll make a motion to approve contingent on receipt of approved certificate of insurance.
Second.
Now I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much.
I have one other thing if possible. I know we're talking about July and September. August, we just figured out that the boat parade is actually on that Saturday only. If we have to come back, that's fine. If we can figure out how to go about processing getting approved for August as well too.
You need redevelopment to see if it's available.
Well, I think that'll be through the Convention Visitors Bureau. That's
No.
all part of the big boat race, I think.
Property.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right now I've been talking with Terry. We've started a conversation about that weekend. Let me figure out with Terry what all's going on for the block party, because the block party happens on there, and that does involve correct me if I'm wrong, a street closure with that one. Let me get that one figured out before we do that. Yeah, we just started that conversation last week. Let me try to figure out what all the moving parts are with that
Okay.
one before we.
Okay, so we're premature on this.
That's okay.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Might I add that this is a good event. There's a lot of people that go there. Last time I was there was probably, I don't know, 60, 70, 80 people there when I was there. And it's a really great event for the kids.
Sounds
And
like it.
no bouncy houses. It's really focused on they're selling things. So it's a great event.
Very good. Thank you. Next item is the use of city property. Calvin Hawkins, 325 Village Road, is requesting to use the You Are Beautiful lot on Saturday, July 29, 2023, and requesting to close Second Street starting at 11 a.m. and to 8 p.m. for their annual car audio battle.
Yes, ma'am.
State your name and address. please.
Calvin Hawkins, 325 Village Road. It's a 12th annual car audio show that I throw in honor of my daughter. All proceeds is gonna go to her foundation because I started a baby bumper bowling league here at City Lanes every Tuesday night, and from ages 5 to 10. So all the proceeds will go to that so I can continue to have the bowling league also for the kids.
Amber, is there any?
Excuse me, sorry about that. I also, I went to the redevelopment and they told me about insurance, and I also have, it should be in the package, a $2 million liability.
I never received anything from insurance.
A note here. I have a note here also that she is waiting. Did you, Amanda? Okay, thank you. Yeah.
So I'm not sure, Skylar, did you guys comment about the audio portion of this? Because I know we have an ordinance.
We did not comment about the audio portion of it. There was no comment on it. How late I don't know how late it goes. We did not comment about the audio portion of it.
Well, when I was at the redevelopment, they said I can have it from 11 to 8. And so I went out and I got the insurance for it and everything, because I got eyes all across the board when I came across the board. They said the only thing I needed to do was get some insurance also. And also it's not, of course it's loud, but it's not louder than the boat show. I hear that way on the south side at my home. And it's not louder than the Oktoberfest.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could bring to your attention is that and I would defer to the police on it if they see it as a problem or whatever. Maybe the board could conditionally, just with the idea that if we are getting complaints or anything, I don't know. But I think it's a great idea. It just, we got to be cognizant of it.
Sure, absolutely.
You've done it.
Corporal?
Yes, I've also done it at Wildwood Flea Market. I also done it at LaPorte County Fairgrounds, and last year I did it at Commerce.
Okay.
So I do it every year since my daughter has been murdered in honor of her. And the money and the proceeds, because I don't have no sponsorship, no nothing, goes to the baby bumper bowlers.
Sure. Corporal, two things is, one is the noise and the other is the closure.
I talked with our administration regarding the closure. We have no issue with that whatsoever. As far as the noise goes, you're right, we do have an ordinance. I would just ask that we keep that in mind as we're doing that. And if we receive any complaints regarding loud noise, then we'll come down and I would assume you'll be there and we would just address it with you accordingly and go from there. So I think this will be a good event and we'll work with you instead of against you. So
Excellent, excellent.
okay, thanks.
Is there any public comment?
Rodney McCormick, 617 Union Street. It's nice that you bring up the noise ordinance. And I hope we have that same drive when we hear Zorn Brewery and other places with the music so loud that I can hear that at my house right until midnight. So I hope we keep that in mind for everyone and not just isolate it to just one person. Thank you.
Are there any board comments?
None here, Madam Chair.
I'll make a motion to approve pending certificate of insurance.
Here it is right here. And Skylar and them should have it upstairs also.
If we have it, I would submit the approval from, our
Insurance company.
Correct. We sent it to general insurance and they have to approve it. So we haven't got the okay back yet.
They were waiting for it.
Okay,
But we'll let you know as soon as we do.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll call for the vote.
I support that.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. Next item is the repair of a driveway apron. Tom Orlowski, 208 Southwood Drive, is requesting for his driveway apron to be repaired to its original angle due to construction performed by the city.
Yes, Tom Orlowski, 208 Southwood Drive. I think I wrote it all out in here basically, but what had happened, oh gosh, a number of years ago when they redid the sewers, was they broke the apron where the driveway meets the street, concrete. All of them driveways are concrete. And broke mine and they broke Leroy's across the street. They did replace mine, but they replaced it within a standard curb. And so every time I go over it, there's a substantial bump. It takes me time to get into the driveway because of that. In other words, there's a pretty good traffic on Southwood Drive. And anyway, I've got to slow down. It's been a hassle. So I brought it, I think I talked to the planning department about it, and they said the best time to address this would be when they are repaving the street, which happens to be this summer. Apparently, I saw the Stripes guys out there. So I'm petitioning the board to, if we can have this apron replaced with what was there before the sewer work was done, again, a number of years ago. That's what I had. I'm only just merely asking for it to be replaced with what it originally was, rather than the standard pretty good curb, you know, for the side of the street with the standard tapered apron, I guess you would call it, that goes from the grade of the street to meet the grade of the driveway. So I'm petitioning the board to have that done. And I believe I talked with, it might have been Mr. Pugh or Mr. Siegel at the time, and saying this is the time to address this is when you do the street. They did do Leroy's about between 5 and 10 years ago. Leroy is no longer with us, but his driveway is, they took care of his, so.
Okay, thank you. Brad, did you take a look at this?
Yes, I drove by and visited the residence. The driveway apron is a 4-inch drive over curb. And it's consistent with the other driveways along that stretch. What I haven't done is review Google Earth images to look back to previous condition, to see what it was like, as he said, 5 or 10 years ago. So the contractor is not mobilized to that street yet. So I'd like the opportunity to do that review, and then if it pleases the board, replace it in kind if I can find evidence of that drive over curb.
Okay, all right. How long do you need?
Well, the contractor will be there, I would say, in the next week to 10 days. So
By the next meeting, you'll be able to report back to us?
well, by the next meeting, if I find that to be the case,
They're going to be working already.
they'll have it removed and replaced.
I understand.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Any board comments on this?
I would make a motion to approve pending Mr. Minix's assessment that that was the curb, the driveway apron that was installed throughout that neighborhood previously.
I'll second.
If I could just clarify, I was just going to look back at previous images to see what the curb was, as he said, the last 5 to 10 years, right? So the existing curb that he has today matches adjacent residents.
Okay, well, that was a question I was going to ask before you came to the microphone, was what are all the other driveways, what are their aprons? And you say they're a 4-inch.
They're 4-inch drive over curb. Yeah, it's a standard curb, and it is a challenge. I have one at my residence as well. It's a challenge to go over them, but it's consistent with what's out there. Like I said, I'd like to look back at images and replace it in kind if it was something different.
Just have a question. Do you have that 4-inch over curb, you call it, is that for water drainage and retention off of the property into the street? Is there a reason why that curb is so high?
Yeah, it carries water through the gutter line, right, through the pan of the gutter. And as opposed to older installations, which were just a vertical curb, straight up curb face, this one has a rounded edge to it, like quarter crown molding, I guess I would say. So that's softer than the vertical face, but it's still abrupt to go up over 4 inches in a vehicle.
Is that still the industry standard, or is there something different that we're doing now?
No, it's still in use today, yes. So, unfortunately.
All right, thank you.
But for that reason, right, it carries the water in the gutter rather than allowing it to flow up into a residential driveway. It has that purpose.
Okay, I have a motion pending
A second.
Okay, then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. Next item is a special event report. This is for informational purposes only. Terry Greetham, Special Event Director, is giving us updates and details as to all the events per the Board of Works, Resolution 2836.
Good morning. First and foremost, Terry Greetham, Michigan City Special Events. First and foremost, I want to thank the board for your consideration of moving my report from the last meeting to this. It was, we were a little knee deep in event planning. Just a real quick recap of the Singing Sand Sculpting Festival. I think it was, everything went very, very well. We saw some great growth in the event. Starting with Friday, we went to a free Friday and saw considerable growth in people who attended. They had the opportunity to come and see what it was all about. And that showed, that showed to be a great decision, because Saturday our numbers were higher than they've been anytime last year or this year. We had a phenomenal day on Saturday. The weather was great. All of our vendors did very, very well. We held our first community challenge. We had 5 companies, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, NIPSCO, Purdue Northwest, Parker Mansion, and Comcast Xfinity all participated in the community challenge, and we raised $5,000 for local LaPorte County charities. Those charities are Youth Services Bureau of LaPorte County, Salvation Army of Michigan City, Boys and Girls Club of LaPorte County, Interfaith Community Pads, and LaPorte County Catholic Charities. Each one of those charities will be receiving $1,000 from the event. So we're very excited about that. And then Sunday hit and Mother Nature decided that she didn't want to have the sand sculpting festival. So even though the weather was very bad, it was in the 50s. We had a constant 20 to 25 mile an hour wind coming off of Lake Michigan, light rain, just not really a great day to be on the beach. Our sculptors pretty much weathered through, for lack of a better term, finished their sculptures. I think we had 200 to 300 people that day that came out to actually see the sculptors. We made the decision in the morning due to the weather. We had lost all of our art, craft, and merchandise vendors because of the wind. And some of our food vendors, we made Sunday free. We did not charge anyone to get in, but we still had 200 to 300 people come out, enjoy the remaining part of the festival. The sculptors all had a great time. And I think that we've shown that this event has definite growth. And is a great event for our community, a great family event. And my plan is to go in front of the park board in the next meeting and request dates for next year, because I think we did really well. The unveiling on Friday night of the South Shore poster done by Neil Keenitz was a huge hit. And on Saturday alone, we sold almost 100 copies of the poster. So that poster is on sale in the special events office. So if anybody's interested, they can come to the special events office and purchase a copy of that print. Moving forward, this coming Saturday, we have the annual Michigan City Kitty Parade. It will step off at 11 o'clock from 7th Street, heading north on Franklin to 4th Street. Right now, we have just under 20 entries, which is larger than last year. So we're growing that. Hopefully we get a good weather day. We get a lot of kids out. Hopefully, even more important, we get a lot of the community out to line the streets to cheer for these kids. They put a lot of time and effort into their costumes and into their decorations. So we want people to come out and support them. So again, 11 o'clock this Saturday on Franklin Street. Next up after that is July 1st is our annual Patriotic Parade. Planning for that's going very well. We have over 75 entries right now. And with what time we have left, I'm guessing we'll get to 100 pretty easy. So we're excited about that event. The fireworks are being held on Tuesday, July 4th down at Washington Park. They'll light off at dusk. And then just a couple days after that, we have the Michigan City Aquacross Grand Prix, which is the jet ski races in Washington Park. And then we get a couple of weeks to, I don't want to say rest, but a couple of weeks to get ready for the Great Lakes Grand Prix. So I'm happy to answer any questions at this time.
Does anyone have a question?
None here, Madam Chair. Good job, Terry.
Yeah, very good job. Thank you. Next item is the awarding of bids for the Michigan City Police Department 2023 3-year lease program for 9 Dodge Durangos Police Pursuit Package fully outfitted. I believe we had one contender, and that was LaPorte Chrysler in the sum of $369,801. Is that correct, Amber?
Yes, I reviewed it with Chief Corley and recommend to award it to LaPorte Chrysler in that amount, the 9 vehicles.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item is the awarding of bids for demolition for 3 properties. The first was 925 West 7th Street, owner housing opportunities. We had 2 bids, or 1 bid, Pavey for $26,680. What is the recommendation?
Assuming planning is okay with it, recommend to Pavey in that amount. Pavey would need to submit the signed agreement and the certificate of insurance.
Do I have a motion?
Is planning okay with it? They're shaking their head, yes.
Make a motion to approve.
I have a question.
You have a question?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I might have asked this before, I don't remember. All these properties that we are demolishing, is there any way to recover the cost from these property owners? Housing Opportunities owns an awful lot of properties in Michigan City, so they're.
What'll happen, Mayor, is that once it is completed, a bill will be sent to the owner. If they do not pay, then what happens is planning will let me know and I'll put a lien on it.
Excellent, thank you.
Do I have a motion?
Michael made the motion. Okay. You made the motion, Michael.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'll second.
Okay, then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. The next property is 425 North Woodland. The owner is Consuelo Tolson, and we had 2 bids, Pavey at $18,385 and Smith and Sons for $20,000. Do we have a recommendation? Do I have that right?
Yes,
I
I got it backwards on my. So subject to review of plan. I'm sorry. Subject to review of planning, we'd recommend to Pavey. They are the lowest in the amount of $18,385. What we do need is Pavey to submit their agreement and the signed, the signed agreement and the certificate of insurance.
Okay, Christine, is there any problem with this? Okay, all right. Do I have a motion contingent on the signed agreement and the certificate of insurance from Pavey?
Motion to demolish.
Second.
Call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. The last property is 207 Hendricks Street, and the owner is Ahmed Realtor LLC. We had 2 bids, Pavey for $26,680 and Smith and Sons for $24,000. Do I have a recommendation?
Recommendation for Smith and Sons is the lowest, most responsive in the amount of $24,000. They did submit a signed agreement and a certificate of insurance, but the certificate of insurance needs to be amended to reflect that the certificate holder and additional insured is the city of Michigan City. And with that change, we recommend approval. Correct, planning, you're in agreement?
Okay, then do I have a motion to award to Smith and Sons in the sum of $24,000 contingent on the updated or amended certificate of insurance?
So moved.
Support.
And I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. Next item is the payroll docket for June 2nd, 2023. City payroll of $1,455,787.67. And the June 16, 2023 city payroll of $812,698.86. We have a claims docket for June 20th, 2023, municipal claims of $4,186,512.48. Health and Life Insurance Fund, $91,527.85. CDBG, that's Community Development Block Grant, $12,283.48. Workers' Comp Trust, zero. Total claims, $4,290,323.81. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve as read.
Support.
A call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. There is nothing on our pending items list, and this is the first. We've never had this happen before. So that being said, this is the end of the business portion of this meeting. And now we'll move on to public comment. Any matter requiring board action will not be discussed under the public comment section of the Board of Works meetings. All matters that require board action must be placed on the agenda using the forms and procedures available at the clerk's office. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes. All comments are to be addressed to the board president, not to individual board members. All comments must be germane to and within the mandate and authority of this board. That being said, go ahead.
Rodney McCormick, 617 Union Street. Brennan Harvey, I just want to say thank you for the community, on behalf of the community. Everything you do is awesome, and you do a great job. Keep up the good work and keep doing things. Mr. Hawkins left. You guys keep doing stuff to keep our young people busy. We need it in our community. Thank you. I wish there was a way that we can just take over these properties that the city can just demo. I know it's a long, drawn out process. It goes into, you put a lien on it and then it goes over, they probably lose it in tax sale. We need to expedite that so the land just don't just go dormant all the time and don't nothing happen on it. I wish there was a way you can take over that land and be done with that. Now, I was here last week. I feel like I was treated very rude by the president. I sent the correspondence to you and to other individuals. And I immediately filed a public record request asking for the resolution, asking for what's your policy on public comment. Resolution 23, I'm sorry. Everything I spoke of last meeting was germane to this board's duties. Every issue brought up. I didn't say nothing that was disrespectful. I don't know what more you want from me. I question why I was so aggressively attacked. I feel like I was attacked. I didn't deserve that. Talking about permits, grass being cut, vehicles that we purchased that we don't have the proper mechanics for, the splash pad, which the mayor brought up. All of those issues are germane to what I was trying to say, but yet you kept trying to cut me off. I hope that doesn't happen again, but if you're going to hold me to that standard, then I think every one of you on this board should be held to that same standard. You should only talk about what's germane to this board. We shouldn't have to hear about kids' graduations. We shouldn't have to hear about some other stuff that's going on that has nothing to do with this board. Everybody like to hear the feel-good story. I like to hear it as well. But is this the standard? This the standard that you guys are holding me or any other citizen to? You need to make sure you hold that standard for yourself. After all, you set the example, and we'll do the right thing. It's just I hope that we can just do better than what we're doing right now. That last meeting, I feel real bad how you spoke to me, and I didn't like it. And I hope that we can do better and work better with our communication. If there's something I did to you, talk to me after the meeting and tell me what I did to you. Carrying these things on to other board meetings, other boards, this stuff is not what this is about. I'm here as Rodney McCormick, the citizen, 617 Union Street. If I'm here in any other capacity, I will address you in that capacity. I think you guys are doing a good job, and I think that we should keep elections out of these meetings. That goes both ways. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any board comment?
None here, Madam Chair.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There's one online.
Let's wait. There's somebody online here. Oh, you want to do this? Okay. All right, please go ahead.
Okay. My name is Martha Most, and I'm the landlord of 418 Hobart Street. And I was not aware until I went over there to her house to make a repair that they're going to be resurfacing the street on Hobart Street. And they've also dug out to replace a lot of the sidewalks there. Well, the sidewalk in front of her house that goes across the greenway, from the sidewalk, the private sidewalk to the street is cracked. And the lady who lives there, she's disabled. And so I know I didn't come and, I didn't realize this in time to get on the agenda. And I know it's probably, and I'm happy to dig out the concrete and get it all ready so it could be done. But it would be really awesome if that could be replaced along with the other sidewalks on the street. And the size of the concrete there to be replaced would be about 80 inches by 48 going to the street. And I have to say, they're out there today putting up the forms to do the sidewalks. So I don't know. I'm probably too late, but I'm just putting in my request.
Good morning. I visited the site with a contractor, and how they do it in terms of operations is they move in, do their demolition, and then they come back and do their formwork, and then they pour it. So the demolition crew is gone. They're working on a different project actually. And what we did on this project was to the east of her residence, there were several sections of sidewalk that were covered up by topsoil and grass. And we revealed those, removed the cracked sidewalk, and that'll be replaced. But we didn't do any, what I call carriage walks. Gail has another picture to describe that. Oh, you've got it. Okay. The carriage walk, we haven't done any of the replacement of that, focusing more on the walk parallel to the street. The walks we've done to the east there will provide continuity for the entire block, but we did not add this. So I know that the contractor's not taking on any extra work. They're swamped. So they were not going to quote any additional work to have it paid directly by the resident or the landlord, as the case may be. So that's the background on it.
Okay, so basically you're saying it's too late as far as the demolition crew being done, okay?
Correct.
And you're also saying that the concrete contractor is not taking on additional work or
Correct.
whatever. Okay, all right, so those two avenues are out. Do you understand?
Oh, yeah, I do. And that's why I saw they were all done demolitioning. So I thought, well, if I can dig it out myself, my tenant even said, put up the forms and maybe they'll do it anyway, but
It doesn't work that way.
I know.
Okay,
No, but anyway, that's okay. I understand.
okay. I'm sorry, we can't help you.
No, it's okay.
Thank you for appearing. Now, we have a public comment on the,
Hi, this is Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. Yeah, these demolitions, they'll tear down those houses, you'll put a lien on them. These owners are just gonna end up walking away from them, and they skip 3 of their property tax installments, and they end up going back on the tax sale. When another lien owner buys it, the judge will sign a court order, and they'll have all those liens waived, and the city's just gonna be on the hook for that demolition. So that's just my comment on that. Thank you. It's kind of a vicious cycle.
thank you, Tommy. Any other comments? Any board comments?
None here, Madam Chair.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you.